The Little Drum and the Big Parade. In a lively little village, there lived a boy named Kito. Kito was known far and wide for one thing. He loved playing his drum. It wasn't a big drum, nor was it the loudest in the village, but Kito carried it everywhere. Whether the sun was shining or the rain was falling, you would always hear dum-dum, dum-dum, as Kito tapped away joyfully. But there was one small problem. Kito was very impatient. He loved to play his drum so much that he would often interrupt others. When the teacher spoke in class, Kito's fingers would itch, and he would start beating a rhythm. When his mother asked him to wait while she cooked, Kito's drum would echo in the background. Sometimes, even during the chief speeches in the village square, dum-dum, dum-dum would rise above the voices. People would shake their heads and say, "Kito, you must learn discipline. There is a time to play and a time to wait." One day, the village chief made an exciting announcement. "This week, we shall have a grand parade. Each of you may bring your instruments, your songs, and your dances. Together, we shall celebrate our village." The villagers cheered, and Kito's eyes sparkled. At last, he thought, "This is my moment. I will play my drum for everyone to hear." All week, children practiced their songs. Girls polished their flutes. Boys tuned their guitars. Even the elders prepared to sing old folk songs. And of course, Kito practiced his drum. But as usual, he couldn't wait. When others rehearsed, Kito banged away louder. "Listen to me," he would shout. "My drum is the best." On the day of the parade, the entire village gathered in the square. The air smelled of roasted maize and fresh flowers. Flags waved in the breeze. The chief stood tall and called, "Let the music begin." First came the singers. Their voices blended sweetly. But Kito could not resist. Before his turn, he lifted his drum and bam, 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 he struck it with all his strength. The singers stopped, startled. The harmony was broken. Then came the flute players. Their notes danced like little birds in the air. But again, Kito joined in too soon, drowning them out with his drum. People frowned. Some children covered their ears. Finally, when it was Kito's actual turn, the crowd was already tired of his impatience. They crossed their arms and waited silently. Kito's heart sank. For the first time, his drum did not bring joy. After the parade, Kito sat sadly under a tree. The chief walked over and placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Kito," he said, "your drum is beautiful. But music is not only about sound. Music is about discipline. Just as the sun waits for night to pass before it rises, a drummer must wait for his time to play. Without patience, even the sweetest song can become noise." Kito nodded quietly. He thought about how many times he had interrupted his friends, his teachers, even his own mother. That night, he placed his drum beside him and whispered, "Tomorrow I will try again." The next week, the village held another small gathering. When the singers began, Kito waited. When the flute players played, Kito kept still. And when his moment finally arrived, he struck his drum gently at first, then louder, then faster, in perfect rhythm with the singers and flutes. The music soared through the air like magic. The crowd cheered, children clapped, and the chief smiled proudly. From that day, Kito learned the power of patience and discipline. His drum was no longer just noise, it became the heartbeat of the village. And whenever the people gathered to sing, they always said, "Wait for Kito. His drumming brings us together."